Hello, welcome everybody. This is Neil with Portal to Ascension. Thank you so much for being here. So great to be with you all. I actually haven't been on a live webinar for like 3 weeks because Sol and I were not feeling well. So it's great to be back here and talking to everybody. Today we have an amazing event, another amazing webinar with Celestine Star, who we have done 2 workshops with. And we've also had on multiple other events on our free conferences. Really great individual, amazing individual, and amazing information. So you're in for a great, beautiful journey today. And just a little bit about Celestine, and we'll get right into it. Celestine Star is the founder director of Galactic Earth Council. 2010 has been an ultraterrestrial and heavenly emissary for over 40 years, offering galactic wisdom and knowledge worldwide to private groups and individuals. She has been guided by the Heavenly High Spiritual Council as an ambassador to assist in the reintegration of Earth's humanity with our benevolent ultra-terrestrial ancestors, Starkin. Star is the author of the Galactic Earth Council Book, offering a safe and well-lit roadmap for those being called to awaken to the Galactic Origins. Hundreds of people have experienced Star's guided sacred Skywatch Circles, Galactic Star Origin and Celestial Ascension Sessions, and Galactic Ascension Workshops. Celestine is a sacred galactic wisdom keeper, grandmother, author, speaker, healer, holistic therapeutic practitioner, and spiritual leader. Star's life purpose is to assist in the evolution of our Earth and to keep the way sacred for all. So join me in welcoming Celestine Star, everybody. Hi, Celestine.
Hello there, Neil. Good to be here.
Thank you
It's
so
so
much for
exciting.
everything. It's all yours. Take it away. Are you going to be sharing screen at all today or just a
I am
direct
going to
download?
share a screen, so I'm just going to go right into it. And
Okay.
we have such a wonderful, let's get this up and running. And there we go. All right. So today's talk is on galactic Earth changes.
Just real
And
quick, we don't see your slideshow if that's what
okay,
you
all
think
right,
it's up.
let me
Yeah.
see, let me share that again.
So click share
All right.
screen.
Yeah, I thought I had it. Usually I get it one time.
There we go.
There we go. Good. So I'm just so honored to be here with all of you. So I first want to say glory in the light of the Radiant One. And that is a galactic greeting, so we could just say it out loud 2 more times. Glory in the light of the Radiant One. Glory in the light of the Radiant One. So that is the greeting that lets others know that we're open in our heart, connected to the one creation. So I want to just take a moment and breathe and just open myself to all of you today. I'd like to talk about galactic Earth changes. It's so important. Cosmic frequencies and evolution of humanity. So that's galactic Earth changes, cosmic frequencies, and the evolution of humanity. And this is very important. And I am Dr. Celestine Iisha Star, and founder director of the Galactic Star Federation. And there's many of us who will be on today. So I want to give a shout out to our Galactic Earth Council who will be with us. Thank you. And so I want to give special thanks to our star family because they are the ones who are encouraging me, along with all of those who love me near and dear, to come out and speak to all of you. So I want to thank them for their total support through the years. We have Neil Gar, who I adore. I love you, Neil, producer of the Portal to Ascension. And the Portal to Ascension to me has become essential for those people who are looking to find true realities, true information from researchers such as myself and others who are amazing, that give us the information that we need to keep moving forward in our lives and to make a better world. So I'm really deeply honored with you, Neil and Sol, and I'm so glad you made it through the COVID and you had an easy time. That was brilliant. Want to know more about that. And thank you to the Portal Ascension team, who's always presenting me in a good way, and I love you and support. Thank you for the support you've given. I want to thank the Galactic Earth Council members for your steadfastness in gathering with me at the Gateway of the Stars. we gathered together, and so together this is our 11th year, and we've been in direct contact with the galactics, and we just keep pouring the information out. So today is going to be a little bit about that. And I want to thank all of you who are here today attending our Galactic Earth Council presentation. Okay. My intent is to share galactic wisdom concerning the current Earth changes in our solar system and the Sheshata. That is the word for the Milky Way, and we could say that, Sheshata, and we are children of the Sheshata. I want to speak about the cosmic frequencies and their effects on Earth and humanity. There's a lot more going on than we think, and I want to give information on the evolutionary process affecting the humans and our experiences. There may be other things that I say, and that is connected to your intent. So let's take a moment and just take a breath and tune into, why are you here? What are you seeking to hear? What is it that you need? And so as I surrender my breath to the highest on high, and I align with all of your intents, may you receive everything that you are seeking and more. May you know thyself deeper. And may this be of benefit to all sentient beings. I am, as I said, Dr. Celestine Iisha Star. I'm going to tell you a little bit about myself, and for those of you who have heard this before, just take a breath and recognize that my process is your process. All of us have been through different levels of awakening, through our vocational work, through our families, through our own sacred studies. So for me, I started as a metaphysical child. I was born into a metaphysical family. What does that mean? It means that I learned about the nature forces from the time I could breathe. Everything was alive. You know, you could speak to it, and constantly speaking to the trees and nature. And as you become aware and begin to have a conversation with creation, then you begin to see things manifesting or being taken away. You have a deeper understanding of the workings of creation. So I consider myself a metaphysical practitioner, a teacher of arcane sciences, hermetics, and alchemy. These things came to me very early in my years. I'm a grandmother wisdom keeper of the great mysteries. Love the mysteries, have been entrenched and drenched in the mysteries of the female, the divine feminine, and I love the oneness, the unified field, the mysteries of that, of the underworld and the shadows, and those of the heavenly realms. So those are a little bit of my medicine that I carry in my gree bag. But I want to put it out to you and reflect it back to you. What is your medicine? What do you carry? What has taken you through? Even if you've been through the valley of the shadows of death or trauma, that is your medicine. And you're still here and you're still strong. So you know that you have something that you can share with people to bring wisdom and grace. I am a priestess. I have the Temple of Light. I do ceremonial work, hospice, birthings, sacred rituals and rites, and even this speaking to you is of a sacred nature. It is woven into my being, and that's a part of why I'm here, to keep the way sacred. I find joy in that. Since I was 7, I was trained by Ruby Sky of the Arapaho in the medicine wheel, and so I'm a medicine wheel keeper. I've spent over 15-20 years doing medicine wheel with people, and I love it. If you ever feel a calling to understand the universe and yourself, to go and stand upon a medicine wheel, and go and ask perhaps a medicine wheel keeper, join them in their ceremonies, and you will learn many things about the universe, the stars. You know, these wheels are aligned either to the star wheel or the earth, and they walk with the star people. So if you're interested in anything like that, I am honored to the Croatan nation, of which I am a part of, and to all of the nature tribal people of the world, sending out a beautiful love blossom. to all of you, and looking for more of that in our lives. We need to come back to the tribalism, and so in a way that is of nature, walking with the earth in harmony. That is one of the keys they carry. I've been an alchemist due to my Egyptian background. I learned very early that the forces work upon our lives, and we're going to speak a little bit about that later. We're going to go into some frequencies, some alchemical frequencies that will assist you in your life, and hopefully you will make it, you will understand and move through, let's see, I want to go back to that. You will understand the movement of the forces. For instance, calcination, the burning down of one's life, the separation. We're experiencing in the world right now separation. We have people who believe in the vaccine or don't believe in the vaccine. There's that separation, and it's literally pulling society apart in divisions. We are breaking down and breaking apart. This is a calcination. It's a force within a force. And so I want to speak a little bit about that if it comes up. But we're definitely going to work with the frequencies in an alchemical way to assist you in balancing and harmonizing yourself as we take on more of the cosmic energies and what to do with that. And so that is my offering for healing for all of you. So I spent some time as a neurosensory developer. That's laser technologies in the eyes with Dr. Downing. And this balances the hypothalamus, and enables people to come into balance with their system. Some bodies are moving fast and some are moving slower. Also the intracranial system. And so there's a lot in putting laser technology, that's the light of the sun, formulated through the gas and energies. So I spent some time with that, and as a designer, I love visual arts, media, and so I'm an archivist. I have about 30 years of the transformative consciousness of humanity in the archives. So all of you are in my archives today, and I thank you. So that is, here we have transpersonal metaphysician and intuitive practitioner. I give my skills to help people for the last 40 years, thousands of people to transform, and I love to give the tools so that you can transform your life as I was given the tools. We're so grateful for all of you. If you understand processing, if you haven't gotten into processing the things that are within you that need to let go, this is the time. We just entered through the Lion's Gate, 8/8, August 8th, in which Sirius began to, and actually began sooner, a little bit sooner, probably July the 30th, rise up over the horizon before our sun. And so this was when the floods in the Niles would come, as Sirius would rise our waters, and that's pretty amazing. So you can imagine the power coming to all of us as it passes from its solar system into ours, connecting with the sun, connecting with the earth, connecting into your embodiment. And it is about letting go. So we are so grateful to have these tools, and so we offer these to you. And quantum therapeutics, pyramidologies, we're going to get into this a little bit at the end when we talk about frequencies, sound, we have light technologies. And so I'm so glad these are coming up online. And I do Oracle, that's a little bit different. I offer once a year an Oracle. My lineage is from Behedet, Egypt, or Demenhor, the Egyptian Demenhor, not Italy. And that is where the 0 point for the oracles was. And so my mother ingrained in me the way of the Oracle, in which we connect to the higher dimensional fields, and we begin to transmit conscious awareness. That is a little different than transmediumship, of which I have a little bit of that. And so we ground my life. I tie my camel to my life and business coaching, and intuitive counseling. So that's, I think, a little bit about myself. I have a doctorate in comparative religion, near-death experiencer. Sometimes I want to do a talk on just that alone. I actually experienced death, and to me, death is my friend. And in a way, humanity is experiencing a death because we're no longer the same as we were before 2020. And so we want to talk about that. We're kind of going through an awakened death. And so we're actually moving into another dimensional field. And this is a little bit about, maybe we could do another talk on this, Neil. That would be fantastic. Spiritual leader and guide, medium, as we talked about the trans mediumship that I was doing, and you're going to learn some of the encoded transmissions that come through from the High Spiritual Council. Teacher, lecturer, we're just, here we go. And so the one thing I want to say in ending is I became an ambassador to the High Spiritual Council and the Galactic Star Federation and the Star Confederation. And so I bring to you some images that are specifically some images and information about that, so that each one of you will get the sense. You could feel it in your body, so I'm excited to share that with you today. So we have the book, the Galactic Earth Council Book, Reintegration of Earthkin and Starkin. It is a direct impulse from the Radiant One, the Creator, to come to you. So I wrote my life. It's bibliography of my life in connection with the galactics, the celestial beings, the immortals. We also have the Galactic Earth Council members, the advanced one. Some of you are on today, so I say blessings. And you'll find their writings in here as well. And we have chapter 11, which gives you, if you're very curious, the information about the formation of Earth and the different epochs and eras that came through from the standpoint of the galactics. Very interesting. I've had it tested with people from NASA, different scientists, and this encoded transmission will give you something every time, and it connects you into reversed consciousness. You know, it's not just the evil in the world, it's literally a reverse consciousness that is stepped out of, that has dropped from the unified field into a state of what the galactics called reverse consciousness, and how that is working in our community today, how it's so effective. You know, they work diligently night and day to control, take over these virtues that are opposite to the unified virtues. And so how we can use frequency as a key to bring the vibrational frequency up around your life, raising your frequency so that you can sustain a higher field around you, and the inactions of the reverse ones have less and less effect. And I've seen this numerous times. So this is about myself. My purpose is to assist in the elevation of consciousness on Earth and to keep the way sacred. So let us go deeper. Let us look at the Earth changes that are happening now. I want to first, I decided to do the definition of galactic, and I thought that was very interesting. It's very simple, of or relating to a galaxy, and especially the Milky Way, our Sheshata, and also something that's very huge, a galactic sum of money. I thought that was great. So as we speak into this, and we're speaking about the galactics, these are beings, and I'm speaking about intelligence that are galactic, beings that are integrated and working within the Milky Way. And the High Spiritual Council is one that goes beyond this Milky Way, beyond the Sheshata. They have been here since the beginning, and they will continue to be here until the Radiant One decides to dissolve this situation, this timeline, this manifestation of reality. And so we want to look at the earth changes that humanity is experiencing in this time and space. Let's take a look at that. So there are other factors that are affecting Earth that needs to be taken into consideration. And these factors are cosmic in nature and affect every living creature on the planet, including humans. And so when we look at that, let's take a look at what we know. We know that we have destroyed a lot of the farmland, through the plowing of the fields, but we're learning the difference. This is mining in the toxicity of rivers that we're dealing with right now. These are all man-made disasters. Here's again the mining and how we destroy the land. Just want to take a look at these things. This is an island of plastic and such. Some of these are miles long. And then this is a very personal one for me. And just looking at that. But at the same time, this beautiful turtle is surviving. So these are earth changes that we have created for ourselves. But we have one that is galactic in nature, huge, and I want to bring that online today. This is an image of the Milky Way, the Sheshata. Now imagine that there is time and space. When I speak to my ultraterrestrial relations, they always talk about time and space together. So that in itself, it's almost like when you're trying to do formulations on time travel and such, you have to include the formulations of space. Time and space go together. They speak to me, and you will read it in the Galactic Earth Council book, is sectors of time and space. And when you have sectors of time and space, they go beyond the size of our Milky Way. Imagine that there is an area of creation that has an intelligence, and there are more than one. And I put my hands like this because it's almost like, if you can imagine, you have sector after sector after sector. It's almost like when we look in the sky and we see the constellations, and within that constellation is a section of time and space. Well, we have sectors. And sectors have different vibrational frequencies. They have a purpose and a function. And from what I understand, that we have moved, literally the whole of our Sheshata has moved out of one sector of time and space and is now moving into another. Now the time and space that we moved out of was of a lower frequency, the vibrational frequency, than that of the one we are moving into. And this is affecting the movement of the planets. This is affecting the relationships of our Earth, things that are happening on our Earth. This is affecting the sun and all of our solar system. So we want to take this into consideration, and we want to take a look at that and how it can affect us. So we're going to move into the Earth is awakening to galactichood. One of the things that I was told was that as we move into this particular vibrational frequency, this sector of time and space, it enables us to awaken. The frequency is high enough so that our consciousness then begins to integrate within our synapses of our brain to enable the receptors to bring into our beingness so that we can focus in a much more related way to the whole of the cosmos. It's almost as a child is born and it slowly gets the awareness of the parents and then those people around in the room and the home and the yard, and we continue to be able to integrate within our synapses, within our brain, to be able to focus in a different way. And so this particular time and space that we are within is enabling us to focus and integrate and awaken our synapses, our DNA, and in order to take in more of cosmic information. I want to say that when I came back from my near-death experience, all of my DNA, it felt like everything was alive. It was the amount of information that was coming into my beingness, how my neurological synapses was digitally, like being able to read the information. It took me a while to be able to integrate what I was receiving. And I had to actually ask that portions of the information that was coming in would be shut down, because I would be speaking to you and I would get everything I needed. I mean, what was I to say? I would get information on what you were going to say, what you were going to do, what your life lessons were. And this is where we're going now. We're awakening to enable the synapses and the DNA to function in a more substantial way. So I'm pretty excited about that. Okay, so one of the other things that has happened to us on a galactic level, on a huge level, is we see here a horizontal view of the Milky Way. You'll notice, I'm going to put a enlarged section, you'll notice that there's a rift. There's, in the right photograph by Sagittarius, you'll see a darkening of the field. And we call it the rift. And so you have one, the Sagittarius part of the Milky Way and the Scorpion part. These are the constellations. It is not the Milky Way itself, but we can see in this graphics that there is a division by this darkening. So when we look to the left, we see that horizontal phrase, and just understand that Earth does the ecliptic orbit from the lower part of the Milky Way to the upper part of the Milky Way. And we passed through on 12/12. Many of us who were aware of this occurrence, we passed through the rift. And we were dead center in the rift of the Milky Way, of the Sheshata. Now, one of the things that happens is it takes 20 years to go across that darkened chasm. 20 years. And often you'll see, galaxies that pulse. They send out their waves. So we were hit by a stream of photonic energies, things, coming out of the center of the Milky Way. It was like being in a force field. Many of us felt the occurrence of it, and know that it took us 20 years to get from the bottom of the Milky Way rift to the top. So just that traveling shifted the whole of our solar system, just going through that process. And now we slowly made our way to the top of the Milky Way. So we have to take into consideration, and we don't have the science. There is science for that. For those who are connecting with the galactics, it is formidable. And there are changes that are occurring in our whole genetic makeup because of this. So from 1996 I believe it is, till 2017 was the journey coming through the rift. Now, things change from the bottom of the Milky Way to the top of the Milky Way. And I believe that this was that Mayan cycle of the 290,000 year cycle when we hit dead center, and then they click the clock and it goes again. And so we're now moving again in a 2,900 or so cycle. And this is what the Mayans were talking about. So we're moving into a cycle, and all of us, the 7 billion plus on this planet, we are all steering the ship through our own envisioning. But at the same time, we're moving in the upper part of the Milky Way, which exposes us in all our totality to the greatness of the cosmos. So our original cosmic differential, which is our dimensional field, is dissolving before our eyes. We've moved up to the top of the Milky Way. We're receiving more gamma, more neutrinos. We have solar winds that are hitting us in a different way. Everything is different. And so this is an artist rendition from NASA of the electromagnetic field. And if we can imagine, as the Galactics told me, as the ultraterrestrials, the frequencies, the difference in the dimensional fields are the vibration of our frequency. And this is called a cosmic differential. And it's like Russian dolls. One frequency modulates next to another, to another, to another, to another. So they took me out of this dimension, and they took me to a place where I could look across dimensional fields, and it looks something like this. The frequencies of many different existences are overlapped and next to each other. We have, and I've seen it, and I've taken others to view this, when you are close to what they call a septicle, or a place that was designed by the ultraterrestrials for them to live in, these cities of light that we speak about, the Gopi Desert, the Shambhalas, the halls of Amenti. We have the city of light here in the Bay Area. And if you're close to an entrance, or your vibration is high enough, you can begin to see the buildings, and you can begin to see that we are in another dimensional. There's another dimension. And you can see this without any drugs, without taking a journey, ayahuasca, whatever. But these ways of seeing through the medicines enable you to understand that there are other dimensions next to ours. And so this is another rendition, as close as I could get it to what I was seeing. But we have these dimensional fields next to ours, and because the resonant field around us is increasing, then we are able to see more of their working. In other words, you're able to see more of the starships moving across the sky. Our synapses is awakening so that we can actually see them and communicate with them easier. And this is an interpretation of the dimensional fields, the astral levels, the physical levels. And so imagine that we are actually, there's such a thin veil between ourselves and the galactics that have been working with us for all this time. Very thin. And so if you can imagine a beautiful city such as this, right next to your dimensional field, and our field is collapsing. I'm going to get into that now. We're going to move into the understanding that the third dimension basically is no longer as it was before. So the question is, As the veil between the worlds is lifting, are we, as a species, ready for our future? We're here to say to you, we are one species. And the sooner that humanity can understand that, we are viewed from other dimensions, from other relations, star relations, as one species. That will assist us, should we desire, to come together and really become strong in who we are as the signature form for this planet. We have incredible beings who are ready to assist us, because this is their Earth as well. In fact, many of them were there at this inception. They were there in formulating and terraforming, and they can help us to solve many of the issues that I showed you at the beginning of this, with the mining and the resources, and how to work in harmony with that. So I've been across the river. I've been to places very similar to this, and the beauty and the grace is awaiting us. And they're not here to cause differentiations, they call it. War is what we would say. They're not here to take over the world. They respect each one of us because they see us as galactics in a human body. And they're amazed. They're amazed at, how we live here. No one actually lived in the greening area. So our area that you live and you have your homes, these are, this is the greening area. This is the place of resources and things like that. But they live in the septicals, which is a whole different way of living. It's like, why chop wood and carry water when you can be in a place where you can manifest things very quickly, and you can be in a place that is connected to all the galaxies, all the places, interdimensional. It's quite an amazing experience, and that is what we're moving to. We're moving towards that, and each one of you that are here, I'm so excited for you. You've already got it, the galactic consciousness, and keep evolving that. You can ask to be shown science, health, medicine. For me, I was shown the library. I was very interested in the library, and that was one of the first places that I was taken. And so here we have a new world, it's just opening for us. It's beyond words, but I am excited, and it's nothing to fear as we keep our minds focused in the unified field of consciousness, because that is the consciousness that includes everyone and is for everyone for the benefit of all. And so if we go into reverse consciousness and we walk along that timeline, we're going to end up going over the cliff, and we're in a state of allowing someone else to control our existence, because that is the virtue of a reverse consciousness. That is neither shame nor blame. That is just what it is. And so awakening to the self, to realize through your heart and your desires, you are manifesting your own world. There are 7 billion plus Earths. There's not just one Earth. Look at where you are. Look at all the things around you. And I'm so grateful that the new healing is coming out onto the planet, that people are using their intelligence to go beyond the conception of what we had gone through in 2020 with the inoculations and the vaccines. Let's move on. Let's keep going. Let's be strong. And so again, we look at different formulations. How do we want our Earth to be? Earth used to be a place, from what I understand, for education. People would come here from all over the galaxies to learn the wisdom of the cosmos. Can we make it that again? Should we make it that way again? Instead of trying to escape Earth, take on the understanding from the galactics to allow us to what shall we say, reformulate the Earth, terraform the Earth. It's our future. Are we ready for it? So I want to talk a little bit about the frequencies, the cosmic energies that are happening. So Alex Tvetsky discovered the effects of cosmic solar activity and the Schumann resonance. He did this way back in World War I, experimenting with soldiers. And the heart math people, they were the ones that discovered that the heart is an intelligence. And for those of you that are interested, they took it upon themselves to recognize, and they did a study. And they did this in 2018. They tracked 16 women in this beautiful study. And what they tracked was the effects of the solar wind and the cosmic rays, which when they hit the earth, it causes the earth to ring like a bell, and it can be measured. And so the Schumann resonance is based upon that. So we're going to look at that, and I'm going to be showing you some of the Schumann resonant field effects that we are going through right now. The earth is in continuous flux, and so it is no longer holding at 7.83. So when we looked at the third dimension, it was steady, 7.83. You could heal yourself, and I think some of us can if we do resonant field energies of 7.83 hertz, and we do that for ourselves. It brings ourselves into a state of balance and healing. But then again, because everything is changing so much, is that still true? So there needs to be research in that area to find out, as the fluctuation of Earth continues and we move out of that 7.83 hertz as a baseline, where do we go to from here? So the charts that I'm going to show you are based on the Tomsk, Russia. They're based at Universal Time. And the one thing that we know, that we have the solar and we have the cosmic energies coming into Earth. The whole solar system is being affected. These great variations, nobody can explain or give us a clear sign that the planet is changing, but the Earth is vibrating at a higher and higher rate, just like us. This is a disclosure from the news, Disclosure News. But what I want to say is, no one can really figure out if our consciousness can affect the Schumann resonance. That's what I wanted to say. So we cannot explain or have a clear sign that the Earth is changing due to this, the great variance that nobody can explain. So there's a lot of science here that can be unfolded and unpacked, but we do know that Earth is vibrating higher and higher. So I just wanted to put that in there, calling on scientists too. So this is a chart of the Schumann resonance field. You'll notice that the first green line, lime green line going straight across, is the 7.83. Now these white flares that you see, and they move down extensively down the chart, what you're going to see is that through the hour of the day, starting on the left, to about the 20th hour of the day, and the day is 9, let me get my glasses on here, is the 3rd of August. I tried to get it August 4th, rather, 3rd and 4th. You'll see on the left is the 3rd, on the right is the 4th, the main one that I want to talk about. So we have these flares, and this can be solar and it can be cosmic. But what we're stating to you is that the Earth is receiving such stupendous energy that it actually causes the earth to vibrate higher. And so we can look at the one on the right, and this is where we get the warning signs that computers don't work, things are malfunctioning. This is very detrimental for satellites and different things like that that humans use with technology. It can knock out whole systems, and we experienced that with PG&E. They had no, I'm sorry, not PG&E, but there was a banking system that went down the other day, and they couldn't figure out what it was. And it may have been an interference from the cosmic rays coming in. So this is a place where you can go, Disclosure News. If you're interested, you can get updates daily. And they really are interested in this kind of cosmic energy. And you can write to them if you have ideas. It's an ongoing research project. Here we have June the 19th, 2021. These are substantial blasts of energy coming in. It's affecting our bodies. Sometimes we get headaches. Sometimes, people are saying, it's so intense, I could barely stand it. I get a lot of that. Sometimes I get it myself, So I tell people that you can breathe. You can open your crown and connect yourself to the North Star, and allow the energy to run down through the spine. And as it's running down through the spine, anchor yourself down through the legs and into the center of the earth. And just breathe. Let the energy come back up to the heart and breathe. And just telling the body that you can come into balance now. Really working with the body to let your body know, in your mind and your emotions. Take a moment and breathe with yourself, and you'll find that it does help to alleviate the stress and the anxiety. But not all that is happening in the world is man-made, and so this is a part of what I'm speaking. This is my favorite. On 4/4 was kind of the beginning of my understanding of this Schumann resonance. We did a meditation. There was a unified meditation around the world. 5 million people registered that day, and it was a specific portal opening, and this is what the resonant field looked like. It went up to 76 hertz. So on a daily basis, our earth is going up to 1,000. It's modulating, it's changing. And this, we don't even know if this affects the heating of the planet, the warming of the whole solar system. So these are the things that need to be taken into consideration. So the higher vibrational frequencies, cosmic, solar, seen through the Schumann, affect humanity, activating our nervous system and our consciousness. And so those who have done the early meditations that understand how to quiet the body, how to work with it, what's happening is our right brain is being reactivated. Many people are becoming very, very intuitive. Suddenly the right brain and the left brain are working together. I see for myself, I want to say that we're formulating the third brain. It's a brain. There is a place in the corpus Christi, right in the center of the two hemispheres, right and left. And in doing laser technologies, the Lumitron in people's eyes, they would get the marching ants, and that would tell me that the right brain and the left brain were syncing up. There is a moment when the two actually sync up. And so to put it to science, and I'm sure they're working on it at this very, very moment, but do some research for yourself. perhaps follow the Schumann resonance and see how your body reacts on these days that are spiked, up 300 hertz. There is an effect, and so you can begin to follow your own life and see when these are good days. Perhaps these are not good days to be sitting in front of a computer, which would amplify. Maybe it is a good day. Maybe you work better with high energy. Some people work better with high energy, and they're able to digitize and work and find and be present with the AI that is in our world right now. So that's something for you to understand. We're going to look at the solar energies. These are some bursts that the Natural Centers for Environmental Information, they have given us these beautiful pictures. You see on the left, this is the solar, and it's just kind of the regular infrared that they show. You see in the center, that's a spike, electromagnetic pulse coming out of these sunspots. And to the right is another, they use another filter there. And let me see, I'm trying to, and this is a video that I got, that I received and downloaded. So let's take a look at this. This is Bill Abbott, David Brain, and Stefan Mende. We have Janet Luhman, and they created this video for us. So let's take a little look at this video. And what you're looking at,
magnetic fields are by their nature
electromagnetic.
invisible. There are some things that nature does to make them more visible. For example, in the corona, the magnetic fields control the atmosphere to the extent that you can see loops. We consider that those loops are in fact pictures of the magnetic field that we're seeing. The description that scientists often use is hairy ball. Some of the hair is ingrown so that the loop is attached to the sun at both ends, but some of the hair goes waving out, and when stuff gets on that open field line, it can stream out and become the solar wind. How hairy it is depends on where we are in the solar cycle. As active regions begin to emerge from the photosphere, it gets very messy, and so it gets hairier and hairier and messier as the solar cycle progresses.
And there's no active region around. Magnetic field can be generated just by the turbulent motions itself. And what you see is that all the magnetic field tends to be crushed and centralized in these intergranular lanes, between the bulbs. So if you're looking at the surface, you see these little dancing dots. And they'll appear, they'll emerge, and then they'll move around, and they'll hit each other, and they'll cancel, or at least merge. Things happen on many different time scales. Photons take hundreds of thousands of years to random walk their way from the core all the way out to where we see them in the photosphere, yet a millionth of a second, a reconnection or something that completely changes the topology of the corona.
Pretty amazing.
Any particle that is charged knows what the magnetic field around it is doing, and it has to move in a direction that's at least in part governed by the magnetic field. And if you have a closed loop of magnetic field, particles moving.
Oops. Oh, sorry. Didn't mean to do that. See if we can get it going again. There we go. So sorry. I was looking at the chat.
Any particle that is charged knows what the magnetic field around it is doing, and it has to move in a direction that's at least in part governed by the magnetic field. And if you have a closed loop of magnetic field, particles moving in that magnetic field will move in such a way that they will never leave. They orbit the magnetic field lines very quickly and whiz around back and forth and back and forth. Once they're on those closed magnetic field lines, they stay there as long as nothing else happens. If you're above one given region, Mars's surface, you might see magnetic field lines bursting out straight towards you. And as they get closer to you, they start to curve away and they turn so that they zoom off into the distance, and then they bend back and they go diving back down. But you're not seeing just one of these. You see this happening all around you.
Essentially, the Earth is like a bar magnet. The magnetic field lines go from the positive pole to the negative pole, almost like circular. In the Arctic, where the magnetic field lines go a long, long way out, away from the Earth, if you go far enough away, they get so weak that the field which is being brought here by the solar wind from the sun actually interacts and almost neutralizes the Earth field. And therefore the particles which are attached to these fields can come out and bombard the atmosphere, and that creates the auroral light.
That's a beautiful offering there. So just imagine that these electromagnetic solar winds filled with these particles are coming to Earth in these vast impulses. And each one of these particles is data, information, and it's hitting your body, which is electromagnetic in nature. And so we're integrating with this kind of field on the Earth, and our own electromagnetic field is expanding because we are vibrating at a higher rate of frequency. So here we go. I took a little time to put this here, kind of an imaging of that electromagnetic field of our Earth, so we can tune into this. Take a moment to tune in. And the Iisha says the geomagnetic field protects us from the harmful cosmic radiations and the charged particles released from the sun by shielding the Earth, which means it protects us from the solar winds. Also, the current technology and space science are dependent upon Earth's magnetic field of protection, right? For the shielding of the field protects the satellites and the space probes from the solar wind. So just take a moment and look at this, and take a moment to see that if our magnetic field fails us, then we're going to really be receiving more gamma energies, more photons, more neutrons. And so what we've discovered by going to, you can follow a lot of the information, extremetech.com or Iisha, I think it is the Europeans, the International Space Association. You can see here the opening of the field, the magnetic field. Portions of our magnetic field are weakening, and so we need to become aware of that. And in knowing that, I had the Galactics tell me that over these areas that the magnetic field is weakening or is weak, those people who are receiving more of the gammic energy can go into states of depression, anxiety. It may be that we are having to really look at how we can hold our mental health together while we go through the earth changes that are happening right now. Eventually, I'm sure that Earth will stabilize, but for now, we're looking at a weakened magnetic field. And this is a picture you will see here of an area stretching from Africa to South America. And it's definitely showing, this is 2019, it's showing that there is a weakened state in the magnetic field. So I have actually seen other images that there are other places along the magnetic field, the magnetic field of the north weakening. This is interesting because it's the south, which is kind of the electromagnetics, but it's down in the southern, so it seems that that would be the electric part of the earth. So we want to put it to our scientists who are studying this field and keep track of it. There's spaceweather.com you can go to. And so what I'm understanding is as these our magnetic field shifts on Earth, and we get the solar winds and the gamma, our weather is shifting as well. And I've come to surrender to the understanding that living on Earth is a place of change. Once we had Pangea and all of the continents broke apart. And if you can imagine people living at that time when there was so much destruction that the continents were coming apart. The Great Rift in Africa, that's another thing to think about. And so we are living through another great change here on Earth. And I just wanted to bring it to us that we're in a place where we cannot do it alone. So I'm bringing you to this place, the creational intelligence. So we're at a place where we're entering the awakening of galactic cosmic energies affecting the Earth. We, as humans, do not have a clue of what's going on there. And so we cannot do it alone. We cannot move through this place of transformation alone. So I want to introduce to you what I call creational intelligence. It's here to help us to move through this transition and give you a feeling of those that I have experienced along with other people that have been with me. And this was a beautiful being that appeared. I call it the Red Tara. So recognize we cannot do it alone. We need to have our space kin. We need to have our star kin to help us to set up balancing stations. And I believe that the ancient temples, I was shown on the 15.5 parallel. This is the place where the north and the south come together. And there's an anomaly there where it's neither positive or negative. And so I was shown that when Pangea was one continent, that they placed their temples on the 15.5 parallel, above and below. And this helped to stabilize the Earth's electromagnetic field. And I believe that we are going to be needing to learn how to do this, to activate different places on the planet to stabilize us as we move through deeper into this awakening of transformation. And these beings who are coming towards us, who are coming out to greet us, I tell people, keep your head to the sky. There's phenomenal things happening in the sky. You can see the other dimensional interfacing with our dimension. And I'm sure there are many of you that understand that. Here's a closer view. And then we have, this is my favorite. I'm going to pause it again. I might have to pause each one of these. This is a square cloud, of which first took my attention, and I recognized that when the ultraterrestrials of the Star Confederation want to get in touch with me, they show me, they appear to me in a cloaked vehicle, but it's square, and it's the same every time. So I can be anywhere and see it and know that I'm to stop what I'm doing and listen, or to greet them, or they're greeting me in some way. And this is my beloved Marlena and I out under the stars looking at not only the square cloud cloaked craft, but one that is pyramid. So you could see them both together, and that we had a lot of fun that day. Jiminy crickets, I don't know what to say here. Other than I've got to go all the way back and pause and go again. So take a moment to take this in. They are available. They've been here. We see the orbs. We see the ships. We see all the energies. They're often cloaked. Their time came in which they didn't have to cloak. Okay, so they told us that they can be seen. And our synapses, the brain synapses, is now formulating. We're ready for it. You can hear the disclosures coming. You know, to me, disclosure has been around for a long time, especially with our grouping, the Galactic Earth Council. We have had disclosure for 11 years, and we're, you know, so I'm kind of over it with the boys who want to play around with Earth's life and all the lives on the planet. It's time to surrender. We have this transformation going on the planet. And so for those of you who are open in your heart, you can give the High Spiritual Council, the Galactic Star Federation, and the Star Confederation permission to step in and assist us. They need you to give them permission to help. And it's very interesting in that way, but they will show themselves to you in many ways if your heart is open. You know, glory in the light of the Radiant One. I'm going to stop this one here. Let's see. Pause. I have to do it again, going back. This was, this one stepped, this formulation of clouds, this was transforming, and you could see the plasma in the clouds as it was separating. It was literally one part of the heavens started moving and reverberating. And I was standing in Lourdes, France with beautiful friend Deborah Juste that I traveled with, and suddenly it just kept opening and opening and opening, and I said, oh my goodness, it's going to open. And it was like a painting, you know, where you see the clouds and the clouds, and there were beings. It was almost as if I was back in the heavenly realms and having the near-death experience, totally standing in public in Lourdes, France, near, you know, the place where the beautiful Mother Mary appeared, Isis appeared to Bernadette. Everybody's walking around, we're looking up, and the clouds are opening, and I saw to the throne of God. I saw an orb of energy, a light that came and hit me in the heart. So we have heavenly help. We have the celestials that can help us. We have the immortals. I'm going to try this again. Let's see if I can move to the next one. Next. And pause. And we have this is a day that we took out on Skywatch, and what happened was the different intelligence, the celestial intelligence, the creational intelligence, formed this cloud right before our eyes. The sun's going down. We're facing south, so the sun is over to the right, so we know that this is something that's being created for us. And as this beautiful cloud is being created, they light it up inside. We couldn't believe it. There's a power here that is ready to work with us. There's information in this cloud here, the formulation of a creational intelligence that knows the forces of creation, that knows how to help us to stabilize the earth. And so I want to say glory in the light of the radiant one on that one. Okay, so let me go to the next one. I have to do this manually, I'm so sorry, and then have to pause. And we get this kind of intelligent workings. To me, I'm all the way out. To me, this opens the field to the Creator. It's like the Creator's working on a level that I can't even comprehend in my mind. But if I go into my divinity, I can comprehend this. I could see that this is a grand working. To line up the cloud formations and the atmosphere and the sun, all at a special, this is one of those things where you say, this is for me, this is the moment for me to relate to creation. And I want you all to, okay. Sorry, I have to do this, okay, let's see. Okay, this is an interesting one. This cloud formation to the left. I'm driving, I've got to go from San Rafael, California. I'm heading to Santa Rosa. And this opening starts happening. And as I'm driving, it becomes more obvious. And it starts getting larger. And as it's getting larger, I can see a circle appear. This is a Stargate opening. And in the center, there's something formulating that's coming in from another dimension. There's no doubt in my mind. The image of the cloud being that you see, if those of you who can see the image of the cloud being. So this particular one shows us the workings that is creating the force field that is opening the Stargate. And it's moving. It's an active, moving energy field. There's an intelligence there. This is not just a snapshot of a cloud floating across. It's actually a working, and the Stargate is getting larger and larger. Now, what's really interesting about it is that nobody in the field, okay, so we have the fully opened Stargate that I'm just sitting there taking pictures of, videoing, and it's moving, and I hope that this image can be offered to science and the videos. You'll notice the sun is behind it. It gives it a 3D effect. There is, a complete Stargate opening. The blue orb that's over to the left popped out of there. There's a gold orb and a blue orb that came out. Several ships moved in and out of this gateway. And I tell you, this went for at least an hour, and I had to leave. I couldn't stay to the very finish when it closed. But it was a 45-minute drive, and then I stood there for about another, 20 minutes or so while this thing just... So again, we have creational intelligence that is revealed to us every day. And how can we connect with that? I mean, I know that I am being shown technology to show to you, but how can we utilize this in a way that's beneficial for our planet? And so I want to offer that to all of you. And then this one, pause, okay. This is the last one I'll show you here in this grouping, is the Skywatch, out at the Skywatch and the Galactic Star Federation. Again, this gives you an understanding that they love nature as much as we do, and that there's no differentiation. There's no difference between, those that are of the Star Nation and the humans. We are the same. They love us. They love us so much that they decided to to draw the silhouette of the skyscape of San Francisco in the clouds. And we had a doctor with us, Dr. David Kitts, and he couldn't believe it. I mean, he was definitely, his synapses was opening, and he said, this is impossible. Something is doing this. And so I want you to take a look at this and recognize this is for you, to see that they are offering themselves to you in whatever way is beneficial for this earth and for our lives. And so taking a moment to relate to that. Let me pause this one. And this was the final. We had seven starships that lined up. I was at a dinner in the Bay Area at a beautiful sister and brother's house, and the Galactic Star Federation lined up one after the other for all of us. And eventually the commander flew directly over our grouping. And so this is just my sharing with you about the creational intelligence, and that it's not impossible for us to begin to ask for those things that we need. And I'm sure it's coming through the mind, because our minds are picking up information and people are getting ideas, they're getting information through into the psyche, because we're becoming more sensitive. So if we open ourselves, we ask the question, and then we open ourselves and we listen, then they can share with us in that way as well. So we're all telepathic, and I think that is going to be a great one, a great siddha, or power, or human ability that is going to be coming on more and more, to be able to work with your abilities to telepathically receive and send information. And so we have this beautiful, let me see here. We're almost at the end of that sequencing. Okay. I thought I was at the end, but we're actually a few more of them. Resume and pause. Okay, so we have the gift of gifts, and this is a fireball that came into the atmosphere. I asked for something that was very substantial to show to humanity, and and this is from my camera to you, a Merkaba spaceship craft. It was rotating, and it stayed with us. Those of you in the Galactic Earth Council are with us today. I'm sure you can remember that day. It was the day of the landing. And this was just recent. This is very recent. We had this beautiful sky. So telling people to keep your head to the sky. A rainbow being appeared. Hopefully it stopped. Okay, so how are the earth changes of affecting humanity? We have the cosmic energies are entering the earth, and due to the weakening of our magnetosphere and other things that are going on the planet, and we also are in a different sector of time and space. We're a different place within the Milky Way as we're doing our ecliptic. So we're being showered with solar photonic particles. We're getting more data, more information. These transformable cosmic energies are changing all of us physically, mentally, and emotionally. And so there's a need for compassion and kindness. And so we're welcoming in the age of quantum medicine to assist us all. We need to understand the quantum physics of what is going on in the body. And that's just my expression to all of you. You may have other needs, but to understand frequency, sound, light, is to understand yourself, to know thyself. And there is medicines in these categories that enable us to move through healing quickly. I think it's going to be the end of the pharma medicine. We have different modulations. There are electromagnetic pads that people work with, wands, and so do some research in that and look at how you can balance your energy field. We have the Healy. We have the Healy, which is a small device that enables people to program in for themselves and do self-healing. Sound learning. So today I want to offer to all of you regenerative frequency therapy. We're going to do some sound workings. And let's see here. If you ever get a chance to go and have a sound bath, they're very relaxing, takes away anxiety. Radionics. Radionics has been around since the World War II. It was first used for pesticide. Instead of spraying the fields, they would set up a sound frequency that would enable the keeping down of the pestilence and the bugs that would take over the plants. Later, it was discovered to go deeper and deeper into understanding the frequencies of your cells. It can help with working with people with cancer. Every part of your body has been registered, the frequencies. And so those who have the ability to work in radionics, which I've done for many years, I've done radionics and working with, in conjunction with the laser technology in the eyes, the lumitrons, called neurosensory development, then you see substantial assistance to the health of the person by using these in combinations. Laser light therapies, pyramid healing chambers, scalar wave technologies, magnetic, electric, and water healings. These are our regenerative frequency therapies. Do your research and see what works for you. But you're going to see more and more of this happening in the world. And as science comes to grips with it, we take in more information. They're able to formulate it into the medicines, and it becomes acceptable in the medical field. And this is one of the things, I think it goes beyond alternative. They want to place some of these modalities into alternative medicine, but I'm asking and I'm hoping and envisioning that it becomes more mainstream, that the medicine doctors are able to understand it. I have a chiropractor, she understands it very, very well, and she uses the frequencies and the laser technologies in the body that helps her relax and helps my muscles. And so we want to honor that we are frequency, we are sound, we are light. I want to offer a vibrational healing meditation. I want to thank you all for holding with me as I made it through this PowerPoint. And so I want to offer just a gentle vibrational healing meditation. So go ahead and get yourself comfortable, get your feet on the ground, should you desire. And you can take some deep breaths. Let's take some deep breaths together. And once again, breathing in the I am, and breathing out the we are. Breathing in through the nose and letting go with the mouth, breathing out, and letting the shoulders relax, maybe having the spine straight. As we breathe deeply, allow your sit bones to hold your body comfortably, feet on the floor, relaxing more and more, letting the crown open, the energies flow through the spine down into the earth as you ground. Take a moment to ground. Breathing deeper, and we open ourselves to the understanding of the sacred frequencies. I'm going to give us the sacred tones, the 174 hertz. I'm going to play these for us. There are 10 sacred tones that I feel that it takes you through the levels, but we're just going to use 174, 438, 532, and 963. And so as we go through these tones, notice how they react to your body. And understand, we're going to take ourselves from where we are in our lives today. We're going to understand, is our life totally dissolved, totally melted down, calcination? Are we picking up the pieces? Are we looking at our lives and trying to pull it back together? Dissolution. Are we opening ourselves to something new, like taking what we have and building something new from it? These are the alchemical process, building something new from what we have. And then taking what we have and opening ourselves and saying, what do we need to let go of? What do we need to let go of? So recognizing in your life, are you letting go of things, or is there things that you need to let go of? Patterns, mental thoughts, traumas, which will make you feel more at home in your body and in your life. Have you done enough processing so you feel like you're opening to another part of yourself? In doing this letting go, you recognize more of your divinity, more of your true self. Are you open to your divinity? Do you allow your divinity to come and integrate into your beingness so that your purpose and your function can then unfold? These frequencies help to amplify and bring these parts of your life and the forces that are moving through your life into a place of harmony and balance. And as we move to a place of understanding our divinity, we distill into the opening of the divine self on earth, present and available, recognizing the divinity in all things, working from a place of being beneficial to all that is existence and to the self, and knowing that you are a clear channel of love and divine presence. So with that, let us begin. We're going to play the 174 hertz. This is the hertz that you can actually feel things that are not beneficial to your being, kind of let go. So if you have something that you feel you want to let go of, any kind of negative energy, see if we can get it to play. It's very low because it is, let's see if I can get this, yeah. It's kind of a deep vibration. You'll feel it down around the power center. We'll just let that play. Just letting go of whatever needs to no longer works for you. This is 432 hertz. And this is the vibration of the heart. This is actually the vibration, the frequency of your womb, when you were in the womb, your mother's womb. Breathing in the love. 528, the love vibration. This helps to repair DNA, the cellular level. Open the heart. Open the mind. Breathing in love. This is the crown, honoring the divinity that is within you. You are the Holy Trinity, human, divine, and created by the Creator. Feeling your crown opening, but in a balanced and healing way. Beautiful. And so what happens when we raise our frequency? And I hope that beautiful meditation assisted you to understand, to feel what your body is going through and how the frequencies can assist you in any way. And if you're ready, you can open your eyes and come present back into this talking. And I appreciate all of you taking the moment to feel the energies. Again, what happens when we raise our frequency? What are some of the known things that are happening? Well, we raise our mind, our abilities. We open the field. So the right brain and the left brain are working together. You become more intuitive. You can trust more of your own self. As you can see with the opening of the 963, you get in touch with your divinity. You know, you open to a higher resonant field, you begin to get higher resonant information in your being. You're going to open your heart. And it's so important because the heart intelligence is what manifests in the world. Everything is like the projector projecting out what is in the inner realms of the self. And so it assists us to open our heart, to heal our heart. It empowers your senses and connects you to your primal awareness. People begin to suddenly, I'm getting guidance. Yes. You're hearing. The telepathic communication between yourself and your divinity, between yourself and perhaps your galactic lineage. For those of you that don't know your galactic lineage, you can get in touch with where you came from before you came to Earth. And knowing that the higher resonant field guides you towards what is beneficial for your life and what is beneficial for you, your family, your nation, the world. So empowering your senses allows you to also be, for most people that I know, the experience is to be more present, to be more in the body instead of running out or I don't want to be here or finding yourself somewhere else. It evolves your consciousness so that you can take in more information about creation and yourself. As we said before, you know, the child evolves to the parents and being able to recognize, and then the teenager evolves into their grouping, their gang or whoever they are. They evolve, and then we grow into adulthood. So now we're growing into galactichood. So these frequencies help you to open up, and we hear information coming from transmediumships, channeling, but how do we integrate all that? You know, the synapses in your brain then finds and creates new pathways, neurological pathways, which enable you to sustain, to understand, to balance. We heal the deep trauma. These methods of toning and songs and sound baths. I tell you, when I do sound baths, I always receive some of the deepest healings that I've ever had. And it might not be that day, it may happen the next day or the next, but if you have a chance to get with a sound healer, it's worth every bit. And healing the deep trauma. Sometimes we don't have to know what it is. When we did a lot of the neurological sensory light, laser technology, things would leave the body without the person really knowing. They would see it and it's gone. You know, just process right through. It enables you to have good health and well-being and to establish unified consciousness. And what that looks like, you know, to really care about each other, to see us as one species, one earth, one tone, one solar system. We are one Milky Way. We are one system of the Milky Way. We're integrated with star Sirius as a binary star system. And with that unified consciousness, we can connect with our star kin in a very healthy, conscious, loving way. We need them. We don't need the Death Star and trying to put out propaganda that we are going to be taken over. They would have done it a long time ago if they so desired. They choose not to. There are those of reverse consciousness, and we can ask that we are protected from that they are not allowed to come in and do the tampering that we are seeing happening in the world today. So on behalf of the High Spiritual Council, the Galactic Star Federation, and the Star Confederation, on behalf of the Galactic Earth Council, peace be on your way. I'm going to open the field now. I'm going to stop. We're going to go into some question and answer. So I think I'm going to stop sharing. I want to thank Portal to Ascension. And let me just take a moment if anybody wants to write down to get in touch with us for any reason. GalacticEarthCouncil.com. You can text Galactic to 22822. And with that, I'm going to stop the sharing. And if anybody has any questions, oops, I raised my own hand. Let's see. We have a hand raised, and that is Sheer Bear. Let's see, I'm going to go to the chat. Thank you. Let's go into the chat room and see here. Do the portions of weakening magnetic fields have anything to do with the poles getting ready to shift? Absolutely. There is a connection between the weakening of the fields, from what I understand, and there's, you know, the tens of thousands of years. There's actually a cycle, and you can find that on space weather, you know, spaceweather.com. I believe you can find that there. Some people say no, but I do know that if the magnetic field becomes so weak, then there could be the possibility of the poles shifting. But I do not feel that it is in our lifetime. And so thank you for that question. Yes. What is the difference between 144 and 144 hertz? 144 can represent the 144,000 beats per second, which is love. That is the frequency of love. Love vibrates at 144,000 beats per second. So the 144 hertz would mean something totally different. It's in the lower fields of nature, so I would say it's a part of the letting go of energy, just like the 174 hertz is that of releasing negativity. So that's what I would say about that. Any idea of how soon the celestial chambers might be available? They're always present, and thank you, Linda. They're always present, the septicles, they call them septicles. I think that's what you're speaking about. It's always present, and as you refine your own frequency, they can come closer. I found myself out in the forest and doing a lot of meditation and prayers, and the immortals appeared, and I was taken in and directed by the ultraterrestrials. And so I believe that was in direct connection to my own frequency levels and my own consciousness. So I think it's really up to you. And I love Richard Von Dung. Love is the answer. Love you too. Okay, there was something I want to get to. Let me see here. Oh, the physical healing chambers. Yes, if you contact me, Linda, I will get you in touch with the physical healing chambers that you can connect with. There's some beautiful people that do the work there, you know. And let's see. Yes. Okay. Rhetoric Moore, thank you. Thank you, and I appreciate, yes, do contact us. What can we do to buffer EMF symptoms, fatigue, and headache? You know, what's really important is to kind of ground your electricity in your house first. Some people are not aware if they have smart meters. And I tell people to just, you know, connect with your PG&E and say, I want the, you know, analog meter, take the smart meter out. Depends on where it is placed in your house, around your house, if you have one. And it's only, they charge you $10 more or something like that. But ground your circuitry. You can get different plug-ins that help to ground. Also, there are freestanding devices that engage the whole area where you are. Live in a place that doesn't have the towers, the 5G towers. Oh my goodness. That may be, check in your area for where the towers are. If you have antennas or receptors in your area, that's another thing. You can work with Healy, Healy, healyworld.com, and those are self-healing devices that are FDA approved, and you can do your own healing work with frequencies in helping your body to balance and modulate. Just, you can get in touch and I can give you some of that information. Cher, thank you for your question about holding medicine wheel meetings. It's been a while since I've done that. We had one here in our place of living here in Fairfax, California, but a company bought out the beautiful healing center, which I used to go and do medicine wheel ceremonies, and now they park their cars on the medicine wheel. I don't know how to say it, but anyway, there's times when I do it up in the forest where I'll create a medicine wheel but I do not have one formally at this time that I work with. I can, if you text me, I can keep you in touch with that, and we can see how that goes. As far as if I'm inspired, I will always give a medicine wheel. I love them, and I think it's an important step for humanity to understand that the medicine wheel is your universe. So when you step on it, you're stepping onto your universe. When you look at it and you see a leaf falls at a certain, maybe in the south, or maybe a limb falls from a tree, or something about it changes through the month. It's, the 28-day cycle. You kind of watch the wheel through the month on the full moon and the new moon. So really get you in touch with yourself and nature and your body and consciousness, and it's very enlivening. So thank you, Cher, for asking that question. Richard, I'll give the latest for the galactics in a moment. How do we stop the force of the vax? That's a very good question. Number one, stay in your lane and stay where you are, and envision that you are clear. And, the stronger we are within our own creation, I would say, is the number one, because you're creating your world. You can actually, create that timeline to drop where they don't have the strength and the power. If we all together in this moment said, okay, they no longer have the power to control our lives, that timeline would fall away. That's number one. Number two, we can ask the Syrian Council. The Syrian Council appeared in their ships when the 5G, the Space Force, now we have an Air Force, we have a Space Force that Trump created, and they had the space weapons turned full on. They were going to, rev it up for this attack that was going to happen. And what I experienced was the Galactic Star Federation moved into the other dimension. They just simply moved out of this dimension. And they decided with the 5G, which is really 6G, can be turned up to 6G, those towers can become weapons. And so what they did was they told me, the Syrian Council came in to kind of help shut down some of that formulation of world control, population control. And so it really takes, letting go of the media and really coming into your own world and just utilizing your consciousness and recognizing you're in direct connection with the universe, and that you see the world where the people who created the virus, which we know without a shadow of a doubt, it was created in Wuhan in connection with a few people that we know. I'm not going to mention names because we all know who are the creators and the ones who are pushing it, and that we could just see that they are taken care of, that their power is taken away. No longer we collapse their timeline. It's not going to happen. What is going to happen? So what are you going to put in its place? What do you see for the world? So the more we can gather people of that strength and that quality to begin to create their own world, then it shall be so. I want to give a very quick sharing of the galactics that came to us as I was driving home with my beloved Claudette. We had the blessing of Commander Rael, who is with the Galactic Star Federation, and he spoke about the evolution of consciousness, that we are going across a chasm. We've got to make it. Humanity has to make it across, and they are really, holding back and supporting us in whatever we need. If we make it, we make it. If we don't, we don't. It's okay. And but they're there to help. And what they showed us was that those who have their full, consciousness operating in connection with the whole of the creation, we'll just say high consciousness. If they come close to us, then our biological unit begins to harmonize and sync up with that frequency. And so their illumination and if their intelligence then merges with our intelligence in the sense that we accept their intelligent beingness, we begin to sync up together and we can evolve our consciousness through their presence. So this is the calling in the angels, calling in the celestial beings, be with us, but just take a moment and, if we call in Archangel Michael, let's say, can you merge with me? Can you hold that angelic present consciousness? And can I hold angelic consciousness within myself? You can sense it, you can feel it, and then all of a sudden your mind starts awakening to a higher level connected to creation. So he gave me the formula for evolving consciousness here, that these beautiful beings who are connecting with each of you and all of you in so many different ways, such a blessing, they are here and offering their consciousness for us to link up with, to become one with. And becoming one, our whole body modulates, and then we can evolve. They said that, if we are a grouping of, say, 8 people, they took 8 people, they showed us 8 people, and one person was very, very strong, then our bodies would sync up to that the strength of the person who was the strongest. Whether they were of reverse consciousness or not, we go for the strength, we sink into. So what's happening in the world that I am seeing is that it's overpowering all the strength of trying to go into the vax world. And what we have to do is not follow the vax world, but follow those of the higher consciousness that are connected to the creation, because we're going to need that. And that's why we're moving towards galactichood, is because we're taking the leap into being able to connect with the whole of creation again. So that's just a little synopsis. I'll be putting that out, the full transmission out. But I thought, oh my gosh, that's amazing to sit in presence with the galactics. It's so amazing. I love it. Thank you, Perry. I love you. Hi there, Neil. Mount Shasta is called the Holy Mountain. What do the Galactic want us to know about connecting to Shasta? What are your thoughts about this? Hi, Rama. We are going to be going to Shasta. That's happening next, and on the 20th or so. My comments about Shasta. Shasta is connected to the Star Confederation and the High Spiritual Council. They come and go. They've lived there forever. It's a way into the inner earth, and it's a way into the other dimensional field. It's a receptacle. It's a place where they live and different levels, since the beginning. There's Native American, so being respectful of the land and coming there. It's kind of a portal, interdimensional portal, but there's more than one grouping there. I know Ashtar Command is basically stationed there most of the time that I know of, and I'm sure many of you have thoughts about that. But yeah, for me, it's an interdimensional portal, and I go there as a pilgrimage. I'll be going there on the 25th, and we'll be doing some speaking up there. And I just honor Shasta. Shasta is one of California's portals to the receptacles. It's an entrance way, and so that's what I would say about that. So what do we want to do? Somebody here, Perry says, sending light and love to Haiti, hit by 7.2 this morning. So as we end this beautiful talk, let us all take our hearts, bringing golden light, and we can just send it into Haiti. And we send love and blessings. Thank you, Neil. Thank you to all of you. Blessings to you all. And glory in the light. of the Radiant One. Blessed be. Thank you.